And now, WZDX Sports with Mo Carter.
And good evening, sports fans. Following the loss of their teammate Danny Johnson, the Alabama A&M football team taking some time off the hill before returning to the practice field late last week. Now Coach Beatty's squad is only days away from the maroon and white game, and from here on out, every practice matters. Speaking of practice, during tonight's practice, the A&M coaches made the players go through a few drills, but after that, the Dogs were in full-blown team mode. There are only a few positions that are still up for grab, including on the defensive side of the ball at linebacker and defensive back. This is what Coach Beatty had to say about his team going into the final week of preparation.
We've got a couple things that we want to touch on, some schemes that we want to develop, if you will, get them on film, try to figure out whether or not we like this and whether or not we like that. We also want to look and see who's the most consistent players at each position, try to position ourselves into the summer to get the team built for the season.
Now down in T-Town, Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide have 2 more weeks of spring ball left. And during that time, the Tide staff still has to find a way to reload at certain positions. Going into spring, the position of running back appeared to have a big question mark. But the emergence of a future star may have put all those questions to bed. After a stellar performance in Saturday's scrimmage, Bo Scarborough has emerged as Alabama's top back. The 6'2", 230-pound back shredded the first-team defense for 109 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in the most recent scrimmage. He could be the next version of Derrick Henry, but Nick Saban still thinks that Scarborough needs some work.
I certainly think he's capable of doing all the things that we need him to do. I think part of it is confidence, knowledge, experience, having confidence, and I think when he understands that, he plays fast and he's very effective. I think there's things that we need to improve on, but we're encouraged by what he's done to this point.
Now the pass will not come back to haunt Alabama wide receiver Calvin Ridley. Apparently, a former high school coach of Ridley wanted a security guard to make a fake ID for another student and have him take Ridley's ACT a few years ago. But according to the Sun-Sentinel, an investigation by the State Board of Education found no evidence that Ridley was in any way involved or even knew about the alleged proposed plan by Davis. Now the Auburn Tigers not practicing today, but they had some good news over the weekend. The Tigers receiving a commitment from Miami of Ohio defensive back Marshall Taylor, the 6'2" cornerback, will enroll as a grad transfer this summer and move into an immediate starting role like Blake Countess did last season. Now, don't forget about the upcoming spring games. The A&M Maroon and White game is this Saturday along with Auburn's A-Day game, 10:30 and 3 p.m. respectively. And then next week, Alabama kicks off with their annual A-Day game. Now we've reached the first sports media timeout, but when we come back, we're heading out to the baseball diamond for some local action on the high school front. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Covering high school, college, and the pros. You're watching WZDX Sports.
And welcome back, sports fans. The high school baseball regular season is coming to a close in just a few weeks, and many teams in the local area hoping to make it to the postseason. 2 teams that want to make 2 deep postseason runs are 5th-ranked Bob Jones and last year's state champ Madison Academy. Today they squared off in a doubleheader. Mustangs took the first game 8-4. On to the second game of the evening now. First inning, Cody Littlejohn. Great hit, and that ball goes all the way out and out over the fence for a 1-run homer to give the Mustangs an early lead as they gallop up into the front. Now, next inning, the Patriots striking back. It'll be Cole Hill hitting the ground ball, and his teammate Zach Duvall will put his team on the board with that score. On to the third we go now. Mustangs Dylan Murphy sending that one right down the right field line. David Hirschman scores for the second to give the Mustangs the lead, but they couldn't hang on as Bob Jones wins this one by a final score of 11-4. And earlier today, we'll take you out to Tanner playing host to Addison in the 4th. The Bulldogs already up 3-0 when Zach Andrews sends his one to center, bringing in Jackson Seymour. Now later in the inning, Bulldogs batter delivers the ground ball, and Andrews makes it 5-0 with this one. Addison goes on to win it easily by a score of 7-1. How about the NCAA men's basketball championship right now? It is Villanova in front of the North Carolina Tar Heels by a score of 51-46. We'll have a full recap of that game tomorrow here on WZDX. And wrapping things up